Are you guilty of spoiling yourself in the worst way? And yes, today I'm talking about self-pity. You know those little parties that you have called pity parties that you have by yourself? Well, without the confetti, that is. And you throw those parties, only you will sit down, you create this story. You are the director, you are the producer, you are the writer, you are the audio technician, you are the gaffer, you are the lighting technician, you are the continuity, you are the makeup artist, you are the wardrobe executive. Only you. You create this story, you have a party over it, and then you are suffering. Stay glued, this video is for you. Imagine you're a hamster, and I'm not calling you a hamster, I'm just saying imagine that you're a hamster and you're running on a wheel, or just even imagine yourself in a wheel and all you're just doing is going round and round and round in circles. Now the question you want to ask yourself is, who is turning me in these circles? Like they say, turning on your own. Who is turning me in this circle that I'm going round and round and round in? Now, this is what happens when self-pity takes over. You just find yourself in this loop of, and I can say it so well because I found myself in that loop, right? You know when it feels like you want to do better. You want to, make this marriage work, or you want to make this relationship work, or you want to communicate better with somebody, or you want to have a better relationship with the people around you. And it just doesn't seem to work. And rather than you looking at the thing that you're doing repeatedly, you now start to say, oh, I'm hopeless, I'm useless, they don't like me. But you've forgotten that wanting a different result and doing the same thing over and over again is called insanity. So what did I do to help me? I'm going to share it with you today. I first of all recognized that I was the one spinning that circle or cycle. I was the one spinning it. It was me doing all the work. Sometimes when you think, okay, if I go there, they will make fun of my dress and then they will not like me. Every time I've heard anybody talk about how they will never be accepted in a situation, my question always is, did anybody physically tell you, or did you assume this on your own? And 99.9% of the time, people say, and I used to say, oh, it's in my head. So could it be that what you're saying to yourself is what you're projecting other people to say about you? Could it be? So first, you want to find out why you keep telling yourself that same thing. You keep putting yourself in a place where you have to keep pitying yourself. I know it's fun though. I mean, staying in a place where everybody's pitying you, you're pitying yourself. They say miserableness likes companionship, right? So you just want to keep saying, oh, that's what, and then you have friends who are saying, your own is even small, my own is bigger, right? If you complain that, oh, I haven't got legs, or one leg is paining me, your friend remove their trouser and say, I don't even have a leg. If you say, oh, I have a headache, your friend will tell you they have COVID. So you now have this community of people who are consistently telling you how their own problem is even worse than yours. And you guys stay in this loop of miserableness. Realize that you're the one doing this to yourself. That's the first point. And how can you come out of this situation? Let me share an exercise with you. I want you to first of all know that what consumes your mind controls your life. So if you stay in that self-loop of self-pity and all the words that are going on in your mind are negative, you'll find out that you will find more reasons to find yourself in more negative situations for you to keep feeling the way you feel, which is negative. And how do you change that? Exercise, let me share it with you. I want you to write down a few of your common self-pity thoughts. What do you say about yourself? Majorly, everything is under three sentences. I'm not enough, is not available to me, and they're different. I'm different from everybody else. Those are everything else you will say would have come from these major 3 sentences. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not enough. It's not available to me. Oh, it's only them that God has blessed. Didn't bless me. When God was sharing height, I wasn't there. Are you one of those people that used to say those things? When God was sharing money, I wasn't there, or my family or my lineage wasn't there. So money is not for me, it's for a certain kind of people. Well, that's part of what's going on. So you want to sit down and ask yourself, what are the common self-pity thoughts that I have? And I want you to write them down. And I want you to just acknowledge them as they pop up, because it might not be the general truth, but it's your truth. And because it's your truth, it's important to you, and you have said it, and it's either you have heard it so many times that you now believe it, that you're saying it to yourself. You know, there's a test called the muscle test, and every human being can do it. I can't stand up to show it to you right now, but technically what it means is that your subconscious mind always knows how you feel about any situation. And so there's this thing, and there are different kinds of muscle testing. You can use your finger like this, you can use your fingers like this, you can move your hand, different ways of muscle testing to know whether what you're saying and how you feel correlates. Writing it down would also help you. So you want to sit down and ask yourself, what are some of the things that I'm thinking continuously that is making me feel this way? And I promise you, write these 3 sentences at the top, and you see how everything you write down will fit into these 3 sentences. I'm not enough, it's not available to me, and I'm different. Everything you think that is negative falls under these circumstances, or under these questions, or under these sentences that refer to you, because we're our worst critics, guys. So like I said, acknowledge them and just look at them and ask yourself, how can I create the opposite of these things that will then become true to me? Because everything that you believe right now was repetitively told you. What will change it is when you then repetitively tell yourself a new thing, because you make the old thought obsolete. You don't fight it. Okay? Now let me share another story with you. Now I want you to picture this. And you close your eyes to picture it very well. You're scrolling on Instagram like we all do, a lot of times mindlessly. We're scrolling on Instagram. You're watching people, especially maybe you're some of your classmates. You're watching them as they're being celebrated, they're receiving awards, they're flying all around the world and doing phenomenal stuff. And you see pictures, you see them in pink today, you see them in blue tomorrow. They have picture perfect pictures. And everything is going so well. Their houses on point, their car on point, their family on point. Everything just seems, picture perfect. And then you stop. And then you look at your life with style and say, but when will my own life be like this? This girl, when she was in school, she was the Olodo in our class. I used to come first, but she used to come last. Look at her life now. In fact, you start to say, well, I'm sure she's sleeping with the MD of the company. Some of those thoughts that creep into our mind. I'm sure she's sleeping with somebody that helped her attain this level. And maybe you see her taking pictures with different men. She's selling her body, and that's why she's able to do what she's doing. Sometimes you're thinking, well, she's from a rich family, or he's from a rich family. So that's why he's blessed and opportuned and fortunate to have such experiences. Me, my father was a farmer, and so we were not able to do certain things, but I was brilliant. And then you start to consistently compare. Then you move on to the next classmate, and then the next classmate, and then the next friend, and you'll sink so deeply into a depression of your own, and it's called afowofa. You are the one that brought the depression upon yourself, just because comparison is a thief of all joy, guys. So guess what? What do you then do? You've got to understand that, one, if you look at all my fingers, they're not equal. My thumbprint will never be the same as anybody else's thumbprint, which then means that I am an unrepeatable miracle. There is no one like me. right? So why do I then want to be you when I can be 100% of myself? I will never be 100% of you. At the most, maybe I'll be 20%, 30%, but I can be 100% authentic to myself. Now, the other thing you need to understand is that when you start to compare and get a bit envious and jealous, you should, or you could start to look at it as, okay, for me to really be envious of this thing, it means that I actually would like it, right? I would like it. So I'm not tearing the person down. I'm just saying I like the fact that this person is traveling all around the world and getting all these accolades, has gotten 3 doctorate honorary degrees, is doing so well. I would like it too. And then that then puts you to know first that, okay, so these are some things that I like that I didn't even know that I liked. And rather than tearing it down or comparing where you are, you then start to create this beautiful goal with all these new things that you've just realized that you like. This is an exercise I'm throwing at you right now to help you stop the comparison game. You want to look at it because, like I said, it will steal all your joy. Oh, guys, I used to sit down and just look at certain people. I'm like, how did this person get this thing? How did this person reach here? What did they have to do? And I'm not even a vindictive person or any of those things, but sometimes it will cross my mind. I'll be like, but this girl, she doesn't have 2 heads. Me too, I have the same, I'm yellow like her, So I'm thinking, okay, so how was she able to attain this level that I haven't been able to touch? What I started to do when I started my growth journey was say, okay, that means I like this. That means I would like this, or I would want to be able to achieve this. So I started putting them down and decide within myself, that's what I had to do, decide within myself that I was going to create my goals or my visions around achieving this level of success. Now, I also know that, if you are trying to compete with me, you are joking, which then means that I'm not even trying to compete with you. Initially, sometimes I'll sit down and say, when would I ever get to this place? I'll sit down and see people like Tony Robbins. And then I'll not remind myself, but are you all right? This man has been doing this thing for 40-something years. You were not even born, maybe, when he started doing some of the things that he's doing. Why would I then now sit down and compare myself to such an energetic enigma or legend? Why would I want to do that? He's putting all the work. He's putting all the time. He's putting all his money. Why would I want to compare myself to such a person? And most times, nobody sees the hard work. They only see, you in the limelight, and they're thinking, this person is blessed or this person is fortunate. But they didn't see the amount of hours that they dug into roots to be able to rise. So what are you going to do differently today about comparing yourself? First, realize that you're not the same with anybody. And you're unique. You're beautiful just the way you are. And if there's anything that you find someone else doing that it pinches you a little bit, don't take that pinch as a bad thing. Take it as something that is showing you something that you should or you are interested in having, and add it to your goal list. The goals are never too much. If you see my goal list, you will smile. You even think there's something wrong with me. Because if I just feel like, I would like this, I add it. And I start to envision myself in that space. You could do the same. Let me share another tip with you, right? What if? What if? Because self-pity likes to wrap itself around that question, why me? And sometimes I ask, why not you? And I'm sure God asked that question as well. Because we like the end product. Gold likes being gold. But without gold going through fire, gold cannot be gold. It cannot be beautiful. So it's in its raw form. For it to become that beautiful thing that we like to wear and, it's got to go through fire. So when next you're asking yourself, why me? Why not switch that why me, right, to what's next for me? Or what do I really want? Those 2 questions, try them. Switch why me, because this is also something that I did, right? First of all, I used to ask myself, why not me? Why not me? What if I need this process to get to the person? Oh, I remember one day I said to my husband, "You're the worst mistake that I ever made." Because I was in my bitter and I was in my hurt. And hurt people, guys. And today, years after, I said to him, I said, "You are actually the biggest blessing that I've ever had. Because if I didn't encounter you, I will not be the woman that I am right now." So I went through that fire, right? I went through the fire. I didn't like it. I didn't understand it. I wasn't prepared for it. I could have stayed there and kept on asking God, why me? Why did I do this? Why did I make this mistake? But God, you promised me. Because I started off saying all those things. But then I realized that I started finding more reasons why I was complaining. I started finding more reasons why I was in pain, because they're called affirmations. Let me throw that out there. You know, affirmations, when we say, "Oh, I am," affirmations is also the same thing. You've got to ask the right questions. Because if you ask, why is my life in such a terrible state? You are asking the universe, and when you ask, you receive. So what you're going to receive is more reasons why your life will unfold in such a terrible way. But if you just change that question to, why is my life unfolding in such a beautiful way? Or how can I find more reasons to see my life in such a beautiful way? Guess what will happen? You will start to find more reasons to see your life in such a beautiful way. So, what did I say about that? You want to trade why me for either what's next or what do I really want? One major challenge that I've seen 98% of the people that I've spoken to, and I'm trying to even be modest with my numbers, is that people don't actually know what they want. Now, if you don't know what you want, even if it was slapping you in the face, you would not even know. So you might actually have what you want, but because you don't know it, you will not know that you have it. And for me, you know, self-pity it's one of the huge attributes of drifters. Huge attributes. Because you just keep pitying yourself, this, and your days are going. Before you know it, it's 5 years. And you spend the last 5 years just pitying yourself, actually not doing nothing. Now, it could be a strategy, right? Because some people benefit in their smallness. Some people benefit in their challenges. Because if you take this I remember listening to a pastor, and he was saying that a man came to meet him. He had asthma. It was Reverend Ike, if you know him. Reverend Ike is such a funny man. He said a man came to him saying that he wanted him to help him pray for some money that he was hoping to get back for suing, I think, the American government because he went to war or something, was a veteran. And so he also then, in the process of talking, said, what he got was asthma from the whole thing. So Reverend Ike asked him, "Do you want me to heal you of this asthma so that you can live a better life?" And he looked at Reverend Ike and said, "If you heal me of this asthma, then I will have nothing to hold on to collect my money from the government." Can you imagine? So he was actually benefiting from that pain. So he told Reverend Ike, "I would rather collect the money than you heal me." And I found a lot of people wanting to stay in that space. And that's why these days I don't cast my pearls before swine. Because I know that some people are happy staying exactly where they are. Because by the time they call 3 or 4 people and they complain to them, they send them money. Now, if they are healed of that problem or they now have a job, how would they be calling all these people to collect money from them? So I've said all of those things to come back to saying, you're the one who is going to heal yourself of this self-pity, because it starts with self before even pity. You're the one going to do that for yourself. Okay? So we're starting from there and we're looking straight into, now what can you do? Once again, write down those questions, those things that you say, every time you say, why me? Every time that you think, why is my life behaving like this? And sit down and ask, what would be the opposite question of what I would really really want. So for example, I say, how do I see people in such a magnificent way? Why is my life unfolding for me in such a phenomenal way? Why does money come to me easily from multiple sources in increased quantities on a daily basis in different denominations? That's me saying more money needs to be coming. I'm not looking at surplus. I'm not looking at insufficiency. Why is my life so beautiful? Why do I have the most radiant, phenomenal, caring friends all over the world? Why can I trust that the universe will always unfold for me in such a magnificent way? Why am I traveling all around the world transforming lives? Can you see how I've changed the questions? Rather than saying, is it only her that can travel? Why can't I get a job that can also... And come out of that self-pity, guys. Now, the next story I'm going to share around my next topic is, have you ever thought about the words that you use on yourself? Like when you make a mistake, what are the words that you use on yourself when you make a mistake repetitively? And everywhere I've asked this question in different sessions or where I'm speaking, you hear people say, I'm an ode, which means I'm stupid. Or some people say, I'm a fool. Or, come on, why do you have to always behave like an idiot? This is from them to them. Nobody is even saying all those negative things to them. This is them saying this. Some will just end up and say, oh, whoa, I'm hopeless. Nothing good can come out of me. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. When you say nothing good will come out of you, how do you feel? Well, let's practice it together. Just sit into it and say, nothing good can come out of me. How do you feel? Very good. I'm sure you feel sad or you feel low. When you feel sad and feel low, how do you act? Maybe you go back to your room and sleep and say, well, it will be another day. And then from that action, what are your results? You don't do anything. But imagine making that same mistake. And you say, well, Adeola, well done. At least you even found out that you made a mistake. Okay, we're going to do it better next time. Just by saying that, how did you feel? Even me, nothing is happening to, I felt lighter. And feeling lighter, what do you then do? You take an action, and that action is you saying, let's try it again. Let's try it again. The only person that failed is the person who stopped trying. Let's try it again. And then, what's the result? That maybe you do that thing and you really do well at it. Or maybe you do that thing and you make another mistake, but you also know that from that mistake, you are getting better and better. What has happened in your shift? You've gone from saying negative things to yourself to saying positive things to yourself to getting either negative results or positive results. This exercise I had to do for years. Just looking at myself, and once I feel bad, I'm asking, why do I feel like this? I must have thought a thought and a negative thought. And I know that once I feel and I think a negative thought, there is no way I'm going to get a positive result. So what did I start doing? I started to rewrite my inner script. There's something that we call the inner cheerleader and the inner critic, and we'll talk about it, I guess, as we go along. The inner critic is that voice that keeps telling you, that's your consciousness that keeps telling you you can't do it. And this is what you have been told from when you were a child. Because we're only born with two fears, the fear of falling and the fear of noise. And if you see every child, just try it out. You see a child, when you throw the child up, and then when they hear loud sounds, they're startled, right? They're startled. What then happens is that we now start to tell them, no, you cannot go there. Oh, this thing hurts. This thing will burn you. Be careful, oh. Don't go there, oh. You know, we start to teach all these different things. Some parents will even say, oh, my child is an introvert. Oh, some children, oh, my child is an extrovert. You're the one creating roles for your children that they start playing. And not just that, they start to believe that this is who they are. Now, yes, some characters may be more predominant in some people than in others, but where did they get them from? You are a sum total of your nature and your nurture. Where you grew up, your environment, the people around you, that's who you're a sum total of, whether you know or like it or not. So who you are today, who I am today, is what was deposited in me for, well, I've done a lot of work on myself. So I might not be the same child, or I've made a lot of the things that was deposited in me obsolete, because I was that child that was told that nothing good would come out of me, right? I was the black sheep of my family, so as they called me. And so if I stayed playing small for so long, because that was my belief. I believed in it so much, it became so true for me. I didn't want to, why do I want to prove them wrong, right? And so for a long time, I was a drifter, at least up until I was 40 years old. I was a drifter, or let me even say 41. So what was the thing that I did there? I changed my inner script about myself. I changed my identity. I carried a negative identity for 41 years of my life. I changed my identity when I was at that age. And so I tell people I'm air. I give people a reason to live, love, and breathe. That's my new identity. So you can't touch me. You can't touch my essence, because I've created the person that I choose to be today. I might not have had a choice between when I was 0 and 18 or 21, but I damn well have a choice now. And this is who I choose to be. I choose to be air. I choose to be light. I bring clarity and understanding and awareness everywhere I go to. I choose to be love. I love because it's who I am. I choose to be vulnerability impersonified, because I carry all of me boldly and unapologetically everywhere I go to. I choose to be a lighthouse that leads people safely to their destination. I choose to be that woman that ignites greatness within others. I choose to be an example on earth that God exists. What about you today? How are you going to change that script that you have told yourself over and over again that you cannot do? They won't listen, they won't answer, who will like me, who will not like me? If I go, will they not jump, will they not fly? All these are things we keep telling ourselves, the limiting things that we keep telling ourselves for us not to succeed in whatever way you choose to succeed, not because you're the one holding the blueprint. I remember somebody called me a week ago and was asking me questions. And the person then says, how was your day? I said, my day was beautiful. She said, why do you say that? I said, because now me carry blueprint of my day. It's me that wants the blueprint of I'm the one that said I will do 10 things. If I don't do the 10 things, it's not you that will beat me. And neither is it me that will beat myself. I changed the blueprint to another day. So my day was phenomenal. That's what I choose to have my days like. So how are you going to start to change that voice in you? Because we all have it. The voice that says you can and the voice that says you can't. And the truth is, anyone you follow is the results that you receive in life. So change that inner critic. And maybe I'll share one more tip that you can use. Now, I realized that I felt more powerful when I had a very strong morning routine, because that morning routine will set my day up so well and so powerfully for me. Hi there, my name is Adeola Kingsley James. I hope these videos really are doing what I want them to do for you, which is help you take action. And you've got to take action today, right? Click the link below, click the notification bell, click the subscribe button, share me with other people. That's action, right? If you share me with other people, it means that you and your community are growing together. You're not the only one growing. Imagine a world where everybody becomes a happy person and every place becomes a happy place. My name is Adeola Kingsley James once again. Love and light.